in celebration of Jim Carolla's upcoming 92nd birthday. Here's a list of 92 things Jim Carolla has never done. Number 4. Sharpened a knife. Just one of 92 things Jim Carolla has never done. Let's get back to the Adam Carolla Show.
It's true. I don't know if he owned a knife. We had a pot with no handle on it.
He had to have owned a knife. Come on.
Yeah, you're right, because he would, when he was a bachelor, he would go out to Alpha Beta in North Hollywood and buy these steaks that were like $1.21 or something, like
the scrap meat,
cuts of meat, and then just fry them in a pan. No olive oil, no garlic, no, just
he didn't season it.
Just fry it in a pan and flap it on a plastic plate. By the way, still time to get tickets if you want to check out me and John Popper coming up January 20th and 21st.
That's this weekend, Dallas. So yeah, go and we're also just doing it even just if you just want to go to the Saturday night show. If you're local,
right?
Come check out Blues Travelers playing. There'll be some Q&A.
We'll all be there, doing podcasts there, and John's going to be covering all the hits. I'll be doing all the stand-up, and we'll do some Q&A. It's going to be great. He's a great guy. Oh, and he's doing stand-up too. So get ready for that.
No harmonica, I heard.
Yes.
Right, for the stand-up.
No harp.
Has to.
That's right. No net.
That's basically naked for him.
What do you got, Chris?
Well, before we get to news, I had a question because when Nick's fiance said she would, when he said his fiance would listen under the covers secretly, when you were doing Loveline, did you was that in the back of your head like, oh, I could also be speaking to very young kids who are sneaking a peek at this show and I'm maybe molding their minds?
I never factored in anything else other than what I wanted to say because I knew it would screw me up, and I always had a mission, I guess, which is like, I enjoy hot dogs. I don't want to see how they're made because I would probably stop enjoying them if I knew what really one of those rendering plants or the horror show that went on there. I didn't. If there were cockroach legs in it, then so be it. But it wasn't hurting me, and I liked it. I want to continue to like it. And when I did radio and podcasting, I would never think about somebody listening, because how would you talk about a family member, or how would you talk about a friend, or how would you talk if you pictured that person listening? It would alter your conversation dramatically. And I've said the examples, like you and your bros your buddy go out for a few beers, and you're sitting in a booth, and then some couple sits in the booth next. All of a sudden, conversation altered big time.
Yeah.
So
I put my tie on.
Yeah. So if you're thinking about the couple in the booth next to you who can hear your conversation, and now you've altered your conversation, or like you're talking about something with your buddy or your whomever, and maybe it's salacious, and maybe it's just technical or legal or something like that. Then you get into the back of the Uber and you kind of zip it until you get to the place where you can talk about it. I don't want that Uber driver. I don't want to think about them listening. So I never thought about, I couldn't think about the program director listening, the powers that be, the suits, family members, lovers. Like, I just had to talk, and that was all going to land, chips were going to fall as they may. I realized I started thinking about it, it would alter my speech.
Yeah. I think that ultimately led to your success then.
Probably.
All right, so let's talk about some stuff that happened last week at a Miami airport. Odell Beckham Jr. So actually it didn't happen last week. The video came out last week. This actually happened right after Thanksgiving. He went out and partied and then got on the American Airlines flight, first class, and they're trying to wake him up because his seatbelt isn't buckled. And they're not going to buckle it for him, right? The flight attendants or anything. So
well, I don't want to defend the man, but if there's anyone who was built for turbulence, it's Odell Beckham, because when you cross the middle in the NFL, that's turbulence coming at you. Free safety coming downhill. You know what I mean? Like, think about what being thrown out of your seat would be rather than being lit up by a DB.
Yeah.
He's built for turbulence.
Right,
That's
I
what
know. I
would
have to put
say.
my carry-on in that size, or that should work for humans too. Like,
Right.
So they're trying to wake him up to put his seatbelt on because they're trying to take off, and he wakes up. He's a little out of it. He's rude. He doesn't know what's going on, and then everyone's just kind of getting all mad. And then basically, long story short, they get like some of the authorities involved, and then they have to deplane the plane because he's just not cooperating.
But I don't get it. They're landing. He needs
No, they're about to take off.
Oh, sorry.
They're about to take off. So now everyone's getting off the plane. This video is like 5 minutes long, but I'll just show you the end of it where where this passenger's like, hey, you should have got off the plane for us. Like, why didn't you get off the plane? Now, look, we all have to get off the plane.
Right.
And here's him talking back to this
Right.
passenger, to the guy in red.
Ain't no way you could look at me. Ever.
Guys, just don't engage with them. Just don't engage. Quick, go again.
You gonna wait 40 minutes and I'm gonna be on a private plane home. Good. Yeah, get your fat ass. Yeah, I will. Get your ass off the plane for a second. Yeah, I bet. Enjoy the cheese board on the way home. Get your ugly ass. Shit, don't mean nothing to me, bro.
And he did take a private plane.
He's the biggest douchebag of all fucking time. I mean, they're people who've killed their family who I would like more than this guy.
Yeah.
As far you know what drives me nuts? What drives me nuts is when you are the person that instigates somebody. That's the situation. You instigate the situation. You guys have all had this in your personal lives. We've all seen it professionally. It's like you instigated this thing, and then halfway into the argument, they're pissed off at you, and it's like, I didn't do any of this. I'm trying to fix this thing that you started. It's like, I stole your car and then I crashed it, and now I'm going to sue you because you got bald tires on that car. It's like, you stole my car. Can we not lose track of how this began? You wouldn't put your fucking seatbelt on. There's another part of that clip, or there's another thing I saw on TMZ, at least, like someone's going, could you just get off the plane?
Yeah.
So, what it is the cop or the sheriff is saying to him, you can either get off now and let everyone stay, but you're getting off, or you can wait for everyone to leave, but you're getting off the plane anyway.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'll wait for everyone to leave.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's
What the fuck?
Yeah.
What the fuck? And then he's like, then someone has the temerity to ask His Highness, could you just get off the plane so we don't have to fucking get off the plane? He's like, fuck you, fatty.
No, right before that video too, he's like, I would never get off the plane for you. Just heads up, I would never get off the plane for you. Yeah, so
He needs to be,
He needs to be fucking banished to Devil's Island.
Imagine if he was your teammate now. There's so much going on. So
that is the opposite of a good teammate right there.
So his
Christ.
attorney, he said, look, Beckham had just simply fallen asleep and a flight attendant blew the situation out of proportion. And then OBJ...
The reason I thought he was landing is because I figured he had a couple of pops on the plane, maybe popped an Ambien or something.
Right.
Now they're going into Miami 5 hours later, and he's passed out. This is getting on the plane?
This is getting on the plane, and so
how far into REM can you get when all the bells and buzzers and people are walking around and all the announcements? Like, how far out can you get that I can't jostle you on the shoulder and tell you to put the belt on?
Yeah, I mean, he did mention that he went out the night before and he went pretty hard, like he raged pretty hard.
It.
So that there's that. But then he also said he learned a lesson from this whole incident. Put my seatbelt on before you fall asleep.
Exactly.
It's just the part where I also hate these people too, because I've had a few of these where you go, look, you can either walk out of here right now, or I can call a few of my sheriff buddies and we can just tackle you down to the ground and put zip ties on you and drag you out of here. And they go get them.
Some people just want to dig their heels in.
Well, okay, it's either going to be you get up and walk out, or we're going to fucking smash you like that stupid doctor on the airplane a few years ago that wouldn't leave Asian guy.
Yeah.
Like this is going to happen because these guys have to fill out a report, and this isn't a country road in the 50s where the guy goes, okay, you slip in $20. He's like, I guess I could look the other. This is all chronicled. It's a report. You entered the plane. They need all this shit. You can't be cool guy cop who goes, you know what? Let's just let this one. No, you have to get off the plane. Now, you could just get up and do it, or you could make everyone get off this plane. And somehow Odell Beckham Jr. is angry at the other people on the plane, that's the part I'm in love with.
He is grumpy.
It'd be really cool if he apologized to that guy and like bought him a cheeseburger and like did a commercial or something and like, I was rude and I'm sorry.
Yeah, that would go viral if
That'd be like,
if
whoa,
they did that.
he turned around.
Have a beer summit.
Yeah. Well, and also
A beer summit, a burger summit. Yeah.
what's going on with Miami Airport anyway, right? Is there like every video I see coming out of Miami Airport are brawls or here I have this video of this lady who it was over the holiday break. She starts just tearing apart the kiosk because her 2 kids decided to go to the bathroom and they didn't tell her, and she demanded that they find her kids. So here, watch this. Very upset.
Oh no.
Spoiler alert, she was arrested.
She's a diminutive Jewish woman. No, wait a minute. Oh, I got that wrong.
Yeah.
She's a large
Look.
woman of faith.
She's a mom, Adam, and she
Yeah.
wants to know where her kids are.
Why is she doing all that?
She's pulling.
Yeah, well,
By the way, can I say this?
it's a tantrum. Like
A lot of ladies chucking furniture at Waffle Houses, chucking chairs at people, like chucking phones, chucking computers. You throw a fucking credit card reader at somebody's head from 6 feet away, you can fuck them
Yeah.
up. Like, I know you're having a tantrum, but you're just grabbing electronics and just chucking them out and about. Gonna fuck people up.
yeah, it's assault.
Yes.
These are actual weapons now. You're turning all this stuff like at Waffle House when you see that lady got that chair thrown at her. She just caught it.
Yeah,
and threw it down.
spun it
Epic.
around. She was
Epic.
awesome.
Yeah. So she got arrested. There, it's all right.
All right, Les, I'll tell you what's happening is, as I've always said, women fighting is up 7,000%. There was no women fighting when I was a kid. Now
They didn't
there's
have
women
M&Ms
fighting.
back then.
That's right. Now they got the chick M&Ms and they're empowered. They're up. So if you said half the population did not engage in physical fights when I was a kid, and now they're throwing down, well, then fighting overall would have to go up if half the population did no fighting, and now half that population is doing the lion's share of the actual tantrums and the fightings and the chair throwing. That's why it's up. They were dormant. Women didn't throw chairs. They didn't throw equipment. They didn't slug it out. There was none. There was none. We had to invent sports like mud wrestling and roller derby to simulate women fighting because we liked it.
System.
Yeah, but these were all made up sports.
Wet T-shirt contests.
It just had women fighting. Yes, it's not a regulated actual sport. Mud wrestling, even roller derby. We made women's wrestling back in the day. It was all just simulation women's fights. Now it's on.
Yeah. Also, just since we're talking about airplanes, we never talked about this yet. There's a guy in Alabama who got sucked into a jet engine and died, like a ramp worker.
No.
Do you hear about that? Yeah.
No.
So it was American Airlines. It was one of those small planes, E-175, like one of those Eagle planes. And yeah, he was just. It looked like somebody commented that he was on the other side, not on the side of the bag doors. So his guess was he went to chalk the plane and wasn't paying attention, and the engine was still running. And his coworker saw it, but just sucked into a jet engine.
Yeah,
insane.
Yeah, there's no answer for sucked into a jet engine other than, oh man, that sucks for him. There's no real. There's a lot of other things attached to a lot of other activities, but this one just sucks for him. Now they could. I'm going to venture this, or you guys tell me. All right. So you think about Captain Sully, Bird Strike, Miracle on the Hudson. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, it gets sucked in. It's like they suck in an insane volume of cubic feet of air per second, whatever, and it's powerful. Okay, and then this guy getting sucked in, and in a safety oriented world, all that jet engine is like a huge, Bassomatic chopper that's just there. And there's no world where there's a screen or a bar or a safety bar or anything. And then, so you would go, well, if bird strikes are a big deal, getting sucked into the engines and flaming out, kind of surprised it doesn't happen more, really, if you think about it. Then why don't we put some sort of grid or screen or something in the opening of the jet engine that would prevent a goose from going into it? Or
these are our top, humanity's top engineers created this machine, and we still haven't figured out the bird strikes
or a baggage handler from getting sucked in. Like, shouldn't we? And I don't know what the answer is, but I'm going to give it to you anyway. Because I race cars, and the cars have open trumpets. They don't have, your family car has a big air filter and a big metal box. Race cars are open. You'll see just open pipes, open trumpets to take in the air into the carburetor. Side draft, down draft, whatever it is. I once on one of my race cars took a fine, heat-proof, stainless steel screen, just a fine mesh screen, and I wired it over all the openings for the trumpets, because if a rock or gravel or dirt gets sucked in there, it'll fuck the engine up. So I did that, and then I got down to the racetrack, and some guy knew what he was talking about. It's like, you just cut down about 33% of your volume of air that goes in there. And I go, but it's screened. It's just like you see right through it. And he's like, you cut down the volume. You can't run that way. Or you can, but you're not going to run as fast. And I was like, but it's just mesh. It's just like fine mesh screen. It's like, yeah, but think about it. You're covering this volume of this area with a certain percentage of whatever. And I think that's what it is with jet engines. They
need every bit.
They can't figure. It'll make them run 20. If it makes them run 8% less efficiently, then everyone's ticket's going to be $30 more or whatever it is. They just can't. The range on the plane would go down 10% or whatever that is. I mean, it has to be. Otherwise, they do it. Ben, I don't know. There must be an article or something out there. I cannot be the first person to go, how come these huge openings, these orifices that fly at 400 miles an hour, sucking birds, and by the way, anything gets sucked in, shit blows up. I think the Concorde's last run, the supersonic French plane, the last run of that plane, or close to the last run, is because, Ben, you got to look this one up too now. Concorde's taken off out of Europe. Piece of debris on the runway. Tire hits it of the Concorde, blows out, and I think got sucked into the jet engine. As they're taking off. The jet engine is flaming out, and boom, right into the forest. There's film of it, I think, sadly. So the reason there's no screen in front of those things is I think it would cut down on volume by X amount of percent, and that's why they won't do it.
Your chopper have a screen?
It came with a governor, and I took it off, man. It had a governor on the carb. It had a catalytic converter. I sawed that shit. I went with an open pipe. All right, one more.
Well, here's something that everyone, for some reason, has been talking about. It's kind of like the latest political culture war, and it's the gas stove. I'm sure you guys have been seeing this. So there's a new study that's saying that gas stoves are now a, quote, a hidden hazard, and this is the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission saying like it could cause cancer. And they say let's childhood asthma. I think that's what it is. Indoor pollution, childhood asthma.
You fucking pussy kids and your fucking asthma. That's the rule. No one can do anything anymore because childhood asthma. All stoves were gas when I was a kid. Nobody had asthma. Now everyone's fat and has asthma, and they're using a microwave. Fucking riddle me that, scientists. Fat little pussies with your asthma. It's the reason I got to stop frying up my steaks.
Everybody was smoking too when we were growing up. Like it was everywhere. Like windows.
They lived
in restaurants, just smoking everywhere, and
you're dealing with insane idiots. One of these days, will find me arguing with the mayor of Calabasas from the radio days, kind of as a Gavin Newsom argument. and he wanted to outlaw something smoking in parks. Smoking in parks. And I said, who the hell cares? And he explained that Christopher Reeve's wife died from secondhand smoke.
Gotcha.
Not that Superman smoked, but that she worked in a cabaret for like 3 years in her 20s and died of secondhand smoke because they allowed smoking in there. And I said, then everyone would be dead if they allowed
Did you have coworkers?
So if they all perish as well? And then this fucking idiot, who was an attorney who was running for mayor, he said, childhood asthma is up, 66%. And I said, yeah, but smoking is down 66%. So how do you make that correlation? And he's like, because childhood asthma is up. And I'm like, if secondhand smoke causes childhood asthma, then why is smoking down 50% and asthma's up 50%? He couldn't. But we would argue a little bit more, and then he would trot out the stat again, ready to go. Childhood asthma is up. Everyone's a fucking idiot. They don't know how to argue. They make insane statements, and then they can't back it up at all. Yeah. Now, the real study, if you want to know how it really works, is the stuff that you're inhaling is coming from your pan. So that could either be from an electric source or a gas source. When you're frying up halibut.
Yeah, when your dad's cooking his steak.
When my dad's making his bone-dry steak with not even salt or pepper on it, what I'm breathing is coming from the pan and the steak. That's what and that stuff is something. So what they do, because they're cooking the numbers and they're trying to outlaw more shit because they want to make more rules because they love more control and they hate the word gas. What they're doing is they're putting what's in the pan and adding it to the gas, and now they're going, see? And it's like, yeah, but the steak would be in the pan if it was an electric stove or not. Was I right with that Concorde thing, Ben?
Oh, here's the video. We have the video here. The Concorde crash.
Yeah.
From start to finish. This is an incredible plane.
It is an incredible plane. Yeah, one of the engines flamed out on takeoff. Right. But, Ben, is the story because debris got sucked into the opening of the jet?
What a crazy chain of events of that. Like, your own part was sucked in through the jet engine.
I'm pretty sure it was a part. Could have been a tire or whatever. All right, we don't have to watch it. Yeah. It's sad. Everyone goes into the forest and dies. But,
thank you.
Yeah. But I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
It ran over a piece of debris during takeoff.
Mm-hmm.
But do we know what the debris was?
And did it blow a tire out, or was it just the debris that got sucked in? Well, look,
it was a strip of metal on the runway.
So that got sucked into
Hey, you're not checking for debris on these runways. Come on.
You got to do that.
Yeah, but now if the Concorde had the catch screen, then the piece of debris,
Right.
Just ricocheted off.
Yeah, but then we get to New York slower.
I am sure that's why there is in a world.
Call Alonzo Bowden. Get on.
In a world festooned with safety measures, the idea that would still just be an open blade means there's a reason why they didn't do it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they had to have thought of this because this is such a big problem.
Ben, they found any information? Oh, you got something. Oh, yeah. He's talking to Gary. Yeah, he's frustrated.
It's okay.
We'll find if there is some study. I can't be the first. There's no way I made up putting a screen in front of a jet engine.
That guy should have never stood there, though. He was in front of it. He should have, don't ever do that. That's the danger zone.
That's rule number one,
rail. Don't go there.
That's like getting hit with the pyrotechnics at a concert or something. Like, there are no-go zones. Like, do not stand there.
All right, let's bring it home because, we got something to get to. We got an answer.
The aircraft ran over debris on the runway, causing a tire to blow up.
What?
Disintegrate.
Oh,
that's exactly as I recalled it. That's why I kept saying debris. Yeah. I don't know my kid's middle name, but I do know aeronautical disasters when I see them. It ran over debris. It blew out a tire, and the tire got sucked in. But again, you guys can tweet me, but they would put screens if they could. I mean,
I
because
need
that's
to
a
know why
real
not.
thing. I mean, your tire could blow out and get sucked into the inlet of the jet.
Yeah, that seems like something that they should be able to prevent. That should have been designed. It blows my mind.
All right. All right. Go to AdamCarolla.com for all the live shows. We'll see you in Dallas this weekend with John Popper.
Yes.
Pocket Party is the name of the podcast, Darren Carter's podcast. And you can check him out on youtube.com/Darren Carter as well. Nick Blood, The Offering, is out on the 13th, so on VOD and in theaters as well. Until next time, it's Adam Carolla for Darren Carter. Nick Blood, Chris Maxbata saying mahalo.